Oh, you're here. Do you believe the view? Somebody once said, after God created earth, he rested in a place like this. So beautiful. I love this property. This video is about the Tenant Protection Act in California. This is my story. I'm gonna lay out all the scenery, all the stuff that went on, and you be the judge as to whether this is or this was a fair law. This property has a flag flying at all times because I owe a lot to that flag. I have a flag at every one of my properties because it was all because of that flag that as an immigrant I was able to come here, and as you know, and in case you didn't know, I became known as the B-man to the stars. I built a company when I was 17 years old. It was my hobby, and all because of that flag, I was able to make it grow into what it become. Come this way. You see that flag up there? That's the flag I owe a lot to. And I always get tears in my eyes referring to that flag because it was because of her that I was able to do everything that I did. Come to the front with me. Is in the Ojai Valley in California. This is a very busy street that goes through town. This is the main street that connects the freeways to the town of Ojai. I am in the Ojai Valley, but I'm not in the town of Ojai. This is the front my property. I built everything that you see. I built these pillars out of special blocks. Beautiful. I built all of these gates here, all the way down 100 and some odd feet to beautify the property. I love to own nice things. I like to beautify things. That has been something I've done all my life because I like to look at it one day and say, wow, I did that. That's a good feeling for me. I don't know about anybody else, but that is a fantastic feeling for me. I built all of this asphalt over here. I had a company put in asphalt in front of my house to create parking space over here. Let's go through the gate again. I built that circle you see down there, and I put the cart in the middle there. I put that cart there. There is two of them on this property to beautify the property. Also, I love big rocks, not little rocks, big rocks. I put one here. I put another one on this side. And there is another big one by the gate up in the front, which I'll show you. All of this asphalt I put in. I made a circular driveway so people can turn around on our own property. Then I created a couple of parking spaces over there and planted plants that do not require water. In California, we don't have water. We cannot plant plants that use a lot of water, need a lot of water. We never water any plants on this property because they're all established and they're all doing well. I think I'm doing my share to conserve water. This here is the subject property that I'm going to tell you all about. This here, it's a subject property that was affected by the California Tenant Protection Act, right here. The notice you see on the door is what the sheriff placed on the door, and I've left it there. We are painting inside, getting ready to rent a house again because I haven't received any rent from this property in 3.5 years. The story about the tenant was he's a Canadian citizen, his wife American. They came to me 5 years ago. They told me they loved the house. I told them I'll rent to you. We talked, everything was okay. I went ahead, rented to them, and for a couple of years, they paid their rent on time. Their rent was not unreasonable. A 3-bedroom, 2-bath house I was renting, including all utilities, water, gas, electricity, I was renting it for $2,600 a month. So they lived here for a couple of years and they paid their rent, everything was okay. Then he started falling behind on his rent. Every time I would tell him it's the first of the month, you need to pay me rent, he would say next Wednesday. I don't know why Wednesdays were special to him. He always would say next Wednesday, next Wednesday. You know, I like to trust people. I don't, want to be a tough guy, any of that. I gave him 6 months to go ahead and pay me his rent for the last 6 months. And then the pandemic hit. He never paid me any of that, and he ended up staying at my house for 3 more years. So the total was 3.5 years. In the meantime, I have 3 houses on this property. This property used to be the house of the postmaster for Ojai Valley. He lived in the main house, and there is a single. That was the beauty salon for his wife, who was a beautician. Then they picked up a house, they purchased a house, another location, and they picked it up with dollies and trailers and semi-trucks, and they drove it over here and parked it in the back of the property. So there is a total of 3 places here to rent. When I pay the insurance, which if you look on the screen, they have building 1, building 2, building 3. I pay insurance on each house separately, and it is pretty hefty, but that's part of the deal. So I do that. I paid water, electricity, and gas for 3.5 years, and this guy got to live in this place for free at my expense because of the California Tenants Rights Acts, whatever they call it. Is this justice? I'm gonna show you more. I'm gonna show you what the property taxes on this property are. And on the day that he knew the sheriff is gonna come at 10 o'clock the night before, he was still in the house. Here is a picture of him in the house with the lights on. Is this justice? I don't think so, but you be the judge for yourself. This here is the second cart. I paid $1,500 for that one and $1,500 for this one. I hope you think it's beautiful, because I do. I grew up in this era 50 years ago when I first came to America, and God, how wonderful life was. This here is another one of my rocks in my rock collection. This is a solid piece of granite. The same rock that is found in Yosemite National Park. They take these rocks that are granite with big blades, they cut it, and they use these to make countertops in people's kitchens. This is the only rock that I own, and I own many big rocks. Only rock that I own that is solid granite. This here is the single unit. It is not a very big unit. It's about 400 square feet, and this is where the beauty salon was when the postmaster of Ojai Valley lived here. His wife worked in here. There is a little story behind this unit, and I need to tell you. Way before it was popular for people to accept gays, lesbian, I always accepted them. I rented to this unit to a woman, and she was born a man. She had gone through all the surgeries, and she rented from me for 5 years. She died inside this unit. One of my other tenants came over and looked in the window and saw her laying in bed, and she was unresponsive. She called the sheriff's department. They came out, they opened the door, went in, and she had died while she was sleeping. After the coroner came here, they put a strip of tape on the door that said, coroner, do not enter. They put one in the front door and the back door. They kept this place for 2-3 days until they did their investigations. And then once they removed her body, I was able to paint the place and rent it again. A very beautiful girl came over here and rented this unit for 3 years from me. My guys who had painted the unit forgot to remove that tape on the door lock that said, coroner, do not enter. She called me one day and she said, did somebody die in this unit? I was speechless. I said, yes, how do you know? Then she told me the tape was left on the door. I meant to slap my employees, but I never did. This here is the back door to that same unit. Only 400 square feet. This is the house that was moved on to the property. If you've never seen it done, believe it or not, it's a simple process. Number one thing they do, if you have a brick chimney, they knock it out and throw it out because it's very heavy. Other than that, they use regular jacks that you use for cars. They lift up this house, put it on blocks, and then they slide a trailer under it. Don't be surprised if you see one going down the road one day where you're driving. I always like to own real estate. I never got involved with stocks, bonds, gold, silver. Some people even go to Las Vegas and put all their money on the table. I never did that because I believed in the old-fashioned American rules and laws. Work hard, you'll make it. I worked 7 days a week for 35 years as the B-man to the stars. I met a lot of movie stars and over 1 million other people, which are regular people. Thank you to my customers. The water doesn't go in. Later, you can put these at even later. Do that. Now, let's get to some serious business. Let me take off my jacket. Hold on. This here was his contract. It says 2 people live on this property. I pay water, power, and electricity, $2,600 a month. This is his contract. I'm at my office. Did you see my autographs on the wall? Watch the videos on YouTube. I explained every one of them. My bill for that property has come in. I'm gonna open it. Let's see how much electricity I paid for my tenant to live on my property for free. $849 right here. God have mercy. I went ahead again. He was here 3.5 years. He didn't pay me rent for 6 months, and then coronavirus pandemic hit. State of California said you cannot throw anybody off of your property. He lived here for another 3 years. About, I would say, 5 months ago, I went to court. I finally hired a lawyer. It cost me $3,500 for the lawyer, and he went to court a couple of times. Rather, he didn't go to court. On the computer, it was like we were in court. My tenant came to court and told the judge that there is 10 different reasons why he doesn't owe me any rent. The judge listened to each reason one at a time and said, none of this has any merit, judgment for me. Told him to get off of the property and pay me so many dollars in back rent. The day after I got judgment from him, he went to bankruptcy court and declared bankruptcy. The day after I got the judgment against them. So I couldn't go after him for anything. At this point, all I wanted to do is get him off of my property so I can rent it to somebody else. The sheriff's department showed up 4 months after I got the judgment against him. In other words, I paid for the utilities without receiving any money. I paid for the utilities. Does this sound like justice to you? I don't know. This here is the papers. The sheriff's department gave me this paper. You see, oh, the sheriff's department gave me this paper. You see, mine is intact. I did not rip it or throw it away. This was left on the kitchen counter. This was their copy, the sheriff advising them that they're gonna come out and evict him. This was their copy, 3 papers. They went ahead and ripped it. You see, right there. You see this one? Right there. You see this one? Right there. All of them ripped the same way. This is what my tenants think of the California Tenant Protection Act. Do you see this? Unbelievable. Is this justice? For now, we are painting, cleaning up. There's a lot of cleaning to do. That's after we have removed a truck and trailer full of their stuff that they left behind. Yes, I had a security deposit from them, but they used that up 3.5 years ago when they didn't pay rent. So they had no security deposit with me. Again, you be the judge of this, whether this is a fair act. Now I'm gonna put up my for rent signs because I gotta get somebody in here to pay me rent so I can pay for, oh, before I forget, here, this here is the property taxes for this property. How much do you think it is? Let me show you what it is. It is a total of $14,310. Is this justice? And I am affected because of the pandemic. Many businesses closed. These were all my customers. And in case you forgot, I am known as the B-Man, especially the B-Man to the stars. Nothing I can do. I cannot sue anybody to get my money back. So that's another chapter in my life. I wish I could forget about it. Thank you for watching.